Hello, and welcome to the Sara Alert training session, where we will review how to enroll monitorees. Here's an overview of what we will cover during this training. First, we will give an overview of the various methods for enrolling monitorees into Sara Alert. Then we will detail how to enroll monitorees through the user interface. Next, we'll review how to enroll households. And finally, we will go over how to import monitorees. This training is relevant for enroller, public health, and public health enroller user types. There are two ways to add monitorees into Sara Alert. The first way is by manually enrolling folks into the system using the user interface. This Sara Alert capability is available to enroller and public health enroller roles. Sara Alert users with access to this capability can use it to enroll a monitoree into either the exposure or isolation workflow, depending on whether the monitoree is a contact or case. The second way to enroll monitorees is through a bulk import by uploading an Excel file that contains the monitoree data. This option is only available to users who have a public health or public health enroller role. There are two import templates available in Sara Alert. The first is a DGMQ spreadsheet set via EpiX. But the most popular way to import folks into the system is by using the Sara Alert formatted file. This format contains many of the data elements used within Sara Alert, so it is the most comprehensive way to import a monitoree's information into the system. Importing also allows users to add multiple monitorees directly into either the exposure or isolation workflow. Importing is the quickest way to get a large number of folks into the Sara Alert system at once. We will provide more details about this process later on in the training. So now I will go into more detail regarding the manual enrollment process. In order to start this process, first you need to click on the Enroll New Monitoree button located in the top of the dashboard view as shown in this screenshot. Then you will be guided through the Enrollment Wizard. This Enrollment Wizard will take you through a series of 6 screens where you will enter the data for the individual being enrolled. You will first see identification information, then the monitoree's address, contact information, and other information about past and future travel. I will note that most of the data is optional and is thus not required by the system, such as travel information. If you are enrolling a monitoree into the exposure workflow, the last enrollment screen captures the monitoree's potential exposure information. In this page, you can input the last date of exposure and capture other data regarding exposure. You also have the opportunity to assign a Sara Alert user or team to a monitoree if desired. On the other hand, if you are enrolling a monitoree into the isolation workflow, the last enrollment screen will capture the monitoree's case information instead of the exposure information. In this page, you can input the symptom onset date and the case status for the monitoree. And you also have the opportunity to assign a Sara Alert user or team to a monitoree if desired. Now here is a view of that enrollment process I just talked about. After clicking the Enroll New Monitoree button, this screenshot here shows the first page in the Enrollment Wizard. It is important to note that required fields within each enrollment screen are marked with an asterisk. As you can see from this screenshot, the first name, last name, and date of birth fields are required, and the Enrollment Wizard will not allow you to proceed to the next page until all required information is filled in. As you continue to go through the Enrollment Wizard, you can click the Next button to advance to the next screen and the Previous button to return to the prior screen as needed. Once you work your way through the Enrollment Wizard, you will see this final review screen, which provides an overview of the data you have entered. If needed, you can click one of the edit links to return to any of those 6 screens in the Enrollment Wizard to update the inputted information. Once the monitoree's information is correct, you must click the Finish button to save the monitoree into Sara Alert. Before moving on to the next part of this training, I will run through a quick demo of this enrollment process. So this is the Sara Alert demo environment. I am currently logged in as a public health enroller, so I have the capability to enroll folks through the enrollment wizard. In order to start, I will go ahead and click the Enroll New Monitoree button at the top of the screen. So this is the first screen of the enrollment wizard that captures the monitoree's identification information. As you can see, all required fields are marked with an asterisk. I'll go ahead and add data into all required fields. Many of the optional fields on this page capture demographic information for the monitoree. Also note that race is multi-select if needed. You can also pick a primary language, which will determine the language Sara Alert will use in sending self-report notifications to the monitoree. Languages that are currently supported within Sara Alert are those in the drop-down that do not have an asterisk next to their name. If you select a language not currently supported in Sara Alert, notifications sent to that monitoree will default to English. There are certain languages like Somali that are partially supported, where Sara Alert can notify the monitoree in that language over SMS or email, but not through a telephone call. If such a language is selected, a note will be displayed alerting the user about this. If the language selected for the monitoree becomes available in a future version release, that monitoree will automatically receive notifications in that language as soon as it becomes available. Here you could input the monitoree's address information. I will go ahead and fill in all required fields here. There's an additional set of address elements below if the individual is being monitored at a location different from their home address. For example, a college student that is away from home for an extended period of time. If they are being monitored at their home address, though, you can simply press the Copy from Home Address button to populate these fields automatically. Here is where you will enter the monitoree's contact information. This is very important as it determines how Sara Alert will notify the monitoree to submit their symptom reports. There are 6 preferred reporting method options: unknown, emailed web link, texted web link, telephone call and text message, and opt-out. If the unknown or opt-out values are selected, the Sara Alert system will not send symptom report notifications to the monitoree. For the telephone call and plain text message options, the Sara Alert system will prompt the monitoree to respond no if they are experiencing none of the symptoms asked about, or respond yes if they are experiencing at least one of the symptoms when prompted to submit a daily symptom report. As a result, for a public health user to understand which particular symptoms the monitoree is experiencing, they will need to manually follow up with the monitoree to capture that information. That is why it is highly recommended the emailed or texted web link options are used. The web link options allow the user to respond to the symptom report by specifying which symptoms they are and are not experiencing. So through the web link reporting methods, public health users will have access to the most granular level of information regarding symptoms experienced by the monitoree. These data elements capture travel information for the monitoree, but they are not required, so we will go on to the next page. This next page captures any information regarding future travel plans for the monitoree. We'll continue along to the next enrollment screen. Now this screen captures the monitoree's potential exposure information. This is where you will add the last date of exposure and specify if the monitoree is known to have continuous exposure. If continuous exposure is not enabled, the regular monitoring period will be 14 days following the last date of exposure. If continuous monitoring is enabled, the monitoring period will be indefinite until either the continuous exposure toggle is disabled or the last date of exposure is updated after enrollment is completed. You can also fill in information about the exposure location and various possible exposure risk factors. Then you have the opportunity to update the monitoree's assigned jurisdiction and assign a user ID to follow up with this monitoree. In this situation, we are enrolling this monitoree into the exposure workflow. So we see this screen capturing exposure information. If we were to go through this enrollment process again in the isolation workflow, we would see the same set of enrollment screens, but instead of this potential exposure information screen, we would see a case information screen, which will allow the Sara Alert user to input the monitoree's symptom onset date and case status. But for the purposes of this demo, we'll simply continue along with enrolling this monitoree into the exposure workflow. Once you've gone through the enrollment wizard, you'll arrive at this review page. You will then have the opportunity to go back to any of these sections by clicking the edit link. Then you can select the next button to go back to the review page. Finally, you can select the finish button when you are done to save the monitoree. And this concludes the demo of how to manually enroll a monitoree into Sara Alert. So we'll go back to the slide deck now. Sara Alert also supports the capability to enroll entire households. This could be, say, a few folks in the same household where one person wants to report symptoms for others in the household. For example, parents with children, where one of the parents wants to report on behalf of the children, or elderly monitorees that have an adult child who submits reports on their behalf. Monitorees are automatically linked into a household within Sara Alert if they share the same reporting method and associated contact information. So, if there are several monitorees that, say, selected the emailed web link option and share the same email address, Sara Alert will automatically link them into the same household. If there are other monitorees in the system that don't share the same contact information, but a Sara Alert user still wants them included in a household within Sara Alert, that monitoree could still be added to that household manually, as we will step through shortly. Once a household is set up, the monitoree designated as the head of household will then get the symptom report notifications for all members of the household. If the head of household reports via plain text or telephone call, they will fill out a single report for all household members. If they report via a texted or emailed web link, they will fill out an individual report for each member of their household. Since the web link option provides the most detailed information for each household member, use of the web link options is highly recommended. When manually enrolling a household into Sara Alert, the first person you enroll will become the head of household. But this designation can be changed, as we will cover shortly. After enrolling the head of household, while you are on the review screen, you can add household members by selecting the Finish and Add Household Member button, as shown in the screenshot on this slide. This will take you through the enrollment wizard again to enroll the next household member. Certain information will be automatically pre-populated based off of the head of household's information, such as address, contact, and travel information. but this information can be adjusted for the new household member during the enrollment process as needed. You can continue to add more household members by continuing to select the Finish and Add Household Member button each time you come back to the review screen. Once you are done enrolling all household members, in order to finish enrollment, you can press the Finish button. If you try to access any of the household members in Sara Alert then, you will see that the records are linked in the system at the top of their details page. The head of household will have an individual link to each member of their household, and each household member will have a link back to the head of household. If at any point you want to change the head of household, first, go to the head of household's record and select Change Head of Household button. A dialog will appear prompting you to select a new head of household from the currently existing household members. Select the appropriate household member and click the Update button to save the new head of household. If you want to add a new monitoree not already in Sara Alert to an existing household, go to the desired head of household and press the Edit Details link. Then scroll down to the bottom of the new page and you will have the option to enroll a new household member through the Finish and Add a Household Member button. If a monitoree already exists within Sara Alert and you want to add them to a household, go to that monitorees page and select the Move to Household button. A dialog will appear prompting you to find the head of household that will be responsible for reporting on behalf of this individual. You can search for that monitoree based on their name, Sara Alert ID, or state and local ID. Once you select the desired head of household, click the Update button to save. To remove members from an existing household, first you must ensure their contact information is different from the head of households, namely their email and/or phone number. You can update their contact information by editing the monitoree's details and changing their phone number and email. Sara Alert will not allow you to remove the individual from the household until this contact information is different from the head of households. You can then select the Remove from Household button to remove this monitoree from the household, so they will start to receive their own daily reminders for symptom reporting. There is another way to enroll a monitoree through the Enrollment wizard, and that is through the Close Contacts panel in an existing monitoree's profile page. You can access this Close Contact panel by going to a monitoree's page within Sara Alert and scrolling down below their lab results section. This table is available for public health users to enter contacts that may be identified during an interview with a case. Sara Alert allows public health users to quickly document basic information about close contacts. These close contacts can then be later enrolled into the system for monitoring after information required for enrollment is collected. To use this capability, a public health user can select the Add New Close Contact button and in the resulting dialog, input any information currently available for that close contact before clicking the Create button to save the contact into the table. Once the contact is in the table, a public health user can edit or add to the previously inputted information and log a contact attempt. Public health enroller users additionally have the capability to enroll a close contact through the Enroll link as seen in the top screenshot off to the right side of the table. Clicking that link will start the Enrollment wizard, and Sara Alert will pre-populate any relevant data elements in the Enrollment wizard that were previously captured in the close contact table. So we just went through how to manually enroll an individual into Sara Alert, but a lot of folks starting out with Sara Alert will want to bulk import monitorees into the system. Public health users and public health enroller users can use the bulk import feature in either of the two formats listed on this slide. The Sara Alert formatted template is the most comprehensive of the two and is thus the recommended option. The most up-to-date Sara Alert template, along with some formatting guidance, is available to download through the user interface, as I will show later on. Monitorees can be imported directly into either the exposure or isolation workflows. The user must make sure they are in the appropriate dashboard view when selecting the Import button to ensure the monitorees are imported into the correct workflow. Monitorees imported with an identical preferred reporting method and associated contact information, either phone number or email, will be automatically linked into households as mentioned before. So, if two monitorees have the emailed web link reporting method selected and have identical information for emails, then they will be linked as a household within Sara Alert once they are imported. You can download the Sara Alert importing guidance directly from Sara Alert, as I will show on the next slide. To prepare the import file, you will add your data to the Template tab, as you can see from the screenshot. The Formatting Guidance tab provides information regarding what data types and what inputs are expected for each column of the template, so you can refer to that when populating the template with information. And the Example tab provides a few example rows of properly formatted monitorees that will import correctly. When Sara Alert imports data, it will only import information from the Template tab. The other tabs will be ignored. Once you've set up your import file with all the relevant data, make sure you save it to a known location on your computer with a recognizable name. Back in the user interface, these are the steps for selecting the import file. First, make sure you are in the designated workflow for import, either the exposure or isolation workflow. Next, click the Import button, and from the drop-down that appears, select the appropriate template. If you select the Sara Alert format, as you can see from the screenshot, there is a link to download the most up-to-date formatting guidance, so it is highly recommended you do so before setting up your import file. Once the import file is ready to go, click the Choose File button and select your import file. Finally, select the Upload button to start the import process. After you've started the import, you'll be brought to a review screen which will display snapshots of all monitorees that will be imported into the system. Sara Alert will highlight monitorees that are flagged as duplicates through the red banner as shown in the top screenshot. Duplicates are detected in two ways. The first way is if the monitoree shares the same last name, first name, sex, and date of birth as an existing monitoree. The second way is if the monitoree shares the same state and local ID as an existing monitoree. Please note though, duplicates that exist solely within the import file will not be flagged. So before importing, ensure your file doesn't have any duplicate records within itself. You can still accept records that are flagged as duplicates if desired. When reviewing the monitorees to be imported, you can accept or reject them on an individual basis by using the buttons associated with each monitoree snapshot. You can also use the Import All button to import all monitorees in the review screen that have not already been individually rejected. If you choose to import all monitorees and you want to include monitorees that were flagged as duplicates, you will have to select the checkbox shown here in the bottom screenshot before clicking the OK button to finish the import. For larger import files, the import process may take a bit longer than smaller imports. So for these larger imports, while the import process is being completed, the progress bar shown in the screenshot here will appear. Below it, you can see there is a Stop Import button, which gives you the option to stop the import in case you determine there was an issue or the wrong file was used. Once that Stop button is clicked, All records that were not already imported will be halted, but please note that all records that were already added into the Sara Alert system will not be deleted as a result of this action. And that concludes the Sara Alert training video. For more information, please visit the Sara Alert website at saraalert.org.